If you own XRP, don't mess this up. Good chances like what we're seeing right now don't happen very often. I'm going to tell you what I think is happening and what you guys really need to pay attention to right now, in my opinion. Okay, so I want to share some smart word from Alex Becker. Now, if you don't know who Alex Becker is, he's a computer programmer and crypto investor. And this guy has done really well with cryptocurrency. And he shares a really important message that I think a lot of you need to hear. So, I'm going to read this so you can understand what's happening in the market right now. What he says is 95% of people will still lose money during this big price jump. Being honest here, yes, this looks like the start of prices going way up. No, we haven't won yet. Most people will still end up losing money or just breaking even in a few months. You shouldn't be super excited. You shouldn't feel anything special. If you want to make big money, you need to stay calm and stick to your plan perfectly. That means being super healthy, super focused, no distractions. You will never get this chance again in your life. This is the one time you'll see people really start using this technology, and it will cause crazy, wild, huge profits. After this happens, everyone will be using it. It becomes like regular stocks. If you bought some or are buying some, that's the easy part. You're going to have to make the right choices perfectly over the next few months. Most people won't do this right. They'll celebrate too much that they'll get drunk on their profits. They'll get too confident. They'll think they're super smart, and then they'll lose everything like they always do. This is crypto. Your money comes from other people losing money. It's like a bloody fighting arena where only 5% of people survive. He's very right. Okay, this is basically what crypto is like an ale. X Becker does a great job of just telling us how it really is. And, my first time when prices went way up back in 2017, this was exactly what happened to me. Okay, I bought a lot of crypto at a really good price, and then that cryptocurrency shot way up, and I thought I was super smart, and I just kept holding that cryptocurrency that I never sold any to make money, even though I knew there were cycles where prices go up and down, right? And honestly, this was earlier, so we had less history to really base things on. But sure enough, the markets went down, and I watched most of the huge gains I made just disappear. And then I felt like a complete dummy. I sold for a tiny profit, and then I just waited for things to calm down, and then I decided to get back in again a little later. That was what happened to me, right? And I know for a lot of you, your first time in the crypto market will be very similar. About 95% of you, I think, will have a similar experience to what I had in my first market. Now, I want to mention that my experience in 2021 was much different because of what I learned before. I didn't hold on to losing coins. I wasn't dumb. I actually sold cryptocurrencies that were at their highest when everyone was super excited that I listened to the signs where people were being greedy. I sold my coins, right? And I sold them in a smart way. And that's exactly what I talk about in my Discord group, which you can join for free, link down below. But anyway, there's a lot more that needs to be talked about here. And I just want to point out what the average XRP holder goes through because it's going to be very similar to this familiar guy, Dave Portnoy, who's now trying to say that he's the XRP army leader, but he's not at all. He got scared and sold his XRP 2 weeks ago, and now XRP reaches an all-time high of 366 cents. And he feels like a complete dummy. And unfortunately, this is what happens to most XRP holders. What we saw just now, the reason why XRP exploded so fast was because we saw what is called a short squeeze. There were a ton of people betting the price would go down. Big investors saw this, and they saw the chance to really force all of these people to buy back and shoot XRP's price super high very quickly. That's what just happened with Ethereum. That's just what happened with XRP. So I want to play this clip for you guys of Dave Portnoy to remind you that this guy knows nothing about investing. This guy knows nothing about XRP cryptocurrency. He doesn't understand the basics. He's just guessing and hoping for the best, right? I'm going to play this, and this is going to be what happens to most people. Just listen up. I'm getting ready to go to bed, and I can't lie to my people. I have something to admit. I sold XRP when it went back up to 240 cents because the guy who told me to buy it told me that I should sell it because he thought Circle would compete with them, that he was unhappy with it. It's up 60% since I sold it, and I would have made millions, and I want to cry and I don't own it anymore. Even though I was like the leader of the XRP army, I sold it. First of all, You're not the leader of the XRP army if you're selling at 240 cents. Okay, no leader of the XRP army is selling at 240 cents. Dave, love your videos, love your pizza reviews, but you're not the leader of the XRP army. Don't talk like that. Now with that being said, though, Dave is the average XRP guy. He's the average XRP holder, not leader. He's the average XRP holder. This guy, he's listening to other people who have no idea what they're talking about, telling him that they should probably sell, take their profits, whatever. And this is during a time when we know that the Federal Reserve is going to lower interest rates. We know that there's going to be a new Federal Reserve boss soon. We know that there's going to be trillions of dollars of money flowing around. We know there's plenty of other good things coming, right? So if you actually do research and study the basics, you'll understand that was a terrible time to sell. Why would you sell at 240 cents when we have all of these major things coming, which we know based on proven track records of money supply and how it connect to price increases in digital money, that it's almost guaranteed that things will go up from here, right? It was just a silly move. That IT was just a silly move. It was just based on feelings and not based on the actual numbers and facts. And this is a really important lesson, and this is why I'm sharing this with you, because you need to base your decisions not on feelings, not on being too excited, not on being greedy, but instead on the facts. That is the most important thing here. And that's what has helped me make a lot of money. Now, please note that is not financial advice. I'm just sharing with you what has worked for me really well. I'm talking about life-changing amounts. Crypto has made my life better forever, and I'm always going to be thankful for that. And I want to make sure that as many people in the world as possible have a similar experience. So with that being said, what we're seeing right now is a lot of excitement in the markets. And so it's normal at this point for people to keep asking the same question again. When is the drop going to happen? What is going to be our new bottom? And should I sell? These are questions that people are asking. And these are all reasonable questions. These are questions that you should ask yourself every single time that there's a huge price jump, in my opinion anyway. That's my opinion. Just in Coinbase, stock reaches a new all-time high for the first time since 2021, right? So it's clear that we're hitting new peaks, UK. Now, not just in the crypto world, but also, of course, in the stock world when it comes to crypto-related stocks like the Coinbase stock. That is an indication that we're getting ready to push to a new level, right? When the old systems, the stock market systems, when they're starting to catch up to the world of cryptocurrency, like what we're seeing right here, the high of 2021, that's when you should start asking yourself the question, okay, how much profit do I have? What is a good plan to take advantage of this? That's like when you start asking those questions, right? Because nothing is guaranteed, especially in the world of cryptocurrency. That is for sure. We're also seeing that there's a lot of positive feelings when it comes to politicians. Of course, the Genius Act, the Clarity Act, those were just passed. That's amazing. The Anti-CBDC Surveillance Act, those all passed, right? And that's amazing. That is great for the crypto industry. This is exactly what we needed. And I want to be very clear, this is going to let a lot of big companies finally have complete clarity to make the choices they need to make. Now, what these big companies do, I don't think will be exactly what everybody expects. Some big companies are creating their own stable coins. They're not going to use Ripple or Rust. Others might use the rails of the XRP ledger, right? But it's not going to be like every single bank now is going to use XRP to send money across borders. No way. That's just simply not going to happen. We need to be realistic here. And so I do think, and I want to make this very clear, that XRP has a huge amount of price increase potential from the current price today to the peak of the cycle. I think we still have somewhere around, I would say, 8 times higher potential on the top end. And that's really good. We're talking above $20 per coin. I think that's the highest we can see here. Now nothing's guaranteed. It's possible that we get no rate cuts until 2026, and that'll make the market conditions pretty bad if that does continue to happen. And so that's something that we need to potentially look out for too. There are bad things. There are good things. You have to look at both sides of the coin. But with that being said, we can see that Ethereum is absolutely making history. We're currently watching one of the largest